Hi, this is going to be one of a few introduction videos so that we can talk about memory books. Memory books is found in the Magic Wand menu. You have to wait for it to show up when you load Silly Tavern, so you need to wait maybe 15-30 seconds. But once you do that, it will show up down here. So if you tap on memory books, you can see memory book settings. All right. You'll see up top here, there's a thing called scene markers, and then there's memory status. This is basically telling you what your scene is right now and where your markers are and things like that. And it's telling me that it's processed up to message 284. That means that in this chat of 326, message 284 was the last one where I had a memory. And I can tell that because I can actually click here and go to my chat lore book. So actually, I don't click there. I click here. Wrong button. This one. Right here. And I can see that the last one here, 284. So that tells me 284 is the last one. So my first memory, next memory coming up should be at least 285. So it looks like I started from 288. I could probably go all the way to actually here. It is to 322. Now you see that I tapped on the chevrons. We'll talk about it in a bit. So if I go to memory books, I can see now that my current scene now looks like this. I started at 288 and am ending at 322. It tells me that's 35 messages and it's going to be 10,000 tokens. All right. We're going to talk about the preferences and things like that first. First one is always use default profile. We're talking about the profiles down here. All right. Come on. Second one is show memory previews. If I tap this and then I create memories, it will actually pop up the preview of the memory and I can decide, do I want this? Do I not want this? Is it useful or not? Did it fail? Do I want it to be regenerated, or do I want to say, yeah, okay, let me just change a couple of things and save it? You can do quite a few things. Show notifications is also basically showing all those little pop-ups that you saw earlier, like the yellow one and the blue one. Unhide messages should unhide hidden messages. It literally runs unhide XY. Enable manual lorebook mode and auto create lorebook are mutually exclusive. If I check one box, I cannot check the other, as you can see. So if I do manual lorebook mode, what that means is I have to choose a lorebook. STMB will not choose it for me. If I don't do that, then if I uncheck enable manual lorebook mode, then STMB requires that you, wrong button. STMB requires that you have a chat-bound lorebook, which is basically when you are on the chat, you come to the character card, and then you tap here and you do the chat lorebook. That is what a chat-bound lorebook is. So if I don't check enable manual lorebook mode, then that happens. If I don't have a chat-bound lorebook, I can check auto create the lorebook. So if I don't have one set up, auto create lorebook will actually set one up for me. And the default is it uses LTM dash character name dash chat name. So if you have your chat named, for example, here, you rename by typing this. So this little button over here lets you rename. So if I've got this named, then when I have it make a chat for me, it makes the chat called Hoko Awai Meets Aha. Okay, wrong button, sorry. So that's auto create. Current lorebook configuration just tells us what our mode is, whether it be automatic or manual. Again, I can check the box, uncheck the box. All right. If it's manual mode, I get to choose the lorebook. I can clear it. I can select it. I can decide, all right, I want to use this other lorebook instead. I just happen to pick this one, but I could do that. If I switch this to disable manual lower book mode, then it goes automatic and it picks up the lower book that is bound to the chat. Allow scene overlap or not allow scene overlap. This means that if my messages are processed up to message 284 and I try to create a memory starting from 284, it'll complain and say, no, 284 is done. Start at 285 instead. If I uncheck that, it'll let me pick whatever message numbers I want. The allow scene overlap setting is useful for if you have many different chats, and so your message numbers are all over the place. Then you could have, for example, 2 chats that are like 500 messages each, and then you start a third chat. Theoretically, that's like message 1001. Practically speaking, it says message 1. So that's why you uncheck the allow scene overlap. That's why you check the allow scene overlap box so that it doesn't say, hey, you're on message 1. You already have a message 1. Okay. Refresh Lorebook editor after adding memories. This one I always recommend because you want to see your new memories. If you don't refresh the editor, then it's just going to add it but not refresh it, which means the display doesn't show it. Basically just, check the box and keep going. Auto create memory summaries is for people who don't want to come and click create memory, who don't want to decide. They just want to go, all right, you know what? Just keep creating memories for me. I don't care. It automatically runs a command called next memory, which is basically using this number right here. If I have memories processed up to message 284, the next memory starts with message 285. That's just the way it is. All right. So if I want to auto-create memory summaries, then I have to decide how often do I want to auto-create them? Every 100 messages? Every 20 messages? Every 1,000 messages? Please don't do that. There's no point in doing 1,000 messages. But I have to decide how often to create summaries. This is going to depend on how long your messages are. Roughly about every 20,000 tokens or so is what I like. However, as you can see here, it's only 35 messages and it's 10,000 tokens. It is definitely a matter of personal preference. It has nothing to do with what I like or don't like. STMB is just going to do some math and go, all right, 100 messages have passed. We are now at 385. So from message 386 onwards, I'll stop. The auto summary buffer will actually postpone it a little bit. So for example, say that I have an auto summary buffer of 3. Now, I'm going to make this 10 in order to make my math easier to do. Earlier, we see that memory status was processed up to message 284. That means for my auto summary, if my messages number is 10, 284 plus 10 is 294. Okay, so after message 294, then messages 285 to 294, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 messages will be summarized. The auto summary buffer will delay it by 3 in case you're one of those people who likes to regenerate or swipe again, or basically just keep trying or talking a little bit and then you want to back up a little, delete a couple of messages, try a new branch. That's what auto summary buffer does. It gives you a buffer to kind of play around a little bit before you keep going. Default previous memories count will let you send a certain number of memories with your prompt. I have it kind of extreme at 7. 3 is probably enough. So what would happen is, let me close this. I have memories up to number 6. So when I send the messages and create memory number 7, then number 4, 5, and 6 will go along as well. And so that way the AI knows that these 3 memories were before it. That's how it does the thing. All right. So that is number of memories sent default memories count. I'm sorry, default previous memories count. Auto hide messages after adding memory is important. You want to hide the messages so that they don't show up in the AI. The whole point of making memories is so that we save tokens. Otherwise, we just send the entire chat. By auto hiding, we basically go, all right, I already made the memories for messages 284, up to 284. So I don't need to send the messages, the messages anymore. I have options here, either do not auto hide or auto hide all messages up to the last memory, or auto hide only messages in the last memory. This is a matter of personal preference. You may have reasons for only wanting to hide the messages in the last memory only, but leaving others open. That's why I gave you options. I will say though, I usually just leave it on auto hide all up to. Messages to leave unhidden should be pretty self-explanatory. So if my message summaries were done to message 284, then messages to leave unhidden of 3 means we'll leave the last 3 open. That is 284, 283, and 282. We'll leave those 3 messages open. It will hide up to message 281. Yes, you can write all this down and do the math if you're not sure what I'm talking about. Token warning threshold just kind of gives you an idea of how many tokens you're sending and whether or not you want to send more than that. It includes the memories that you're sending previously. So this default previous memories count matters when you're doing the token warning threshold. 30,000 is the default. 60,000 is what I found to be comfortable, actually. You could set it as high as 100,000. I definitely recommend you make sure that you look at your AI's max context, and then you leave 10% so that the AI has room to work. Because this is just messages sent to the AI. However, if, for example, you're doing Sonnet and it's 200,000 and you send 200,000, well, you don't leave him any room to respond to you. 200,000 is full. So you should send 180,000 and leave 20,000. That's just an example. To be fair, 60 is quite enough. 100, you almost never get past it. So, memory title format's fun. Play around with it. It just gives you the format of the memory title. We will talk about regex later because regex is kind of super advanced. All right. Memory profiles. You have memory profiles to choose from. When you first install memory books, you'll get current Silly Tavern settings. However, the power in STMB is you can have it choose a different AI to summarize with. I know a lot of you like to play with Sonnet. Sonnet is expensive. Gemini and GPT are cheaper. So I would use GPT, for example, which is a 2 in and 8 out versus Sonnet's 3 and 15. $3 for every million tokens in, $15 for every million tokens out. You may not think that's a lot. It will add up. Gemini is cheaper. Gemini is 1.25, $1.25 going in and $10 going out. Yes, I know all this by heart. We'll talk about setting up memory profiles in a bit. This down here is basically a quick snapshot of what your profile is right now. So if you don't remember which profile's what, this should at least tell you what your profile says. You can tap on View Prompt to see what the prompt is. You don't have to worry about this, by the way. It's just another way for you to see what the prompt is. We have profile actions down here, set as default, edit profile, new profile, and delete profile. That should be self-explanatory. We will come back to that. We have import and export profiles, which will do JSON. And then we have summary prompt manager inside prompts. Okay, we will talk about this later. Down here, I have create memory. Once I'm ready, I've decided, yes, 288 to 332, that's exactly what I want. I want to do that. Then I tap on create memory. It'll create the memory. It'll work. I have it set to send 7 memories. It only sent 6. That's why the 6 thing popped up. I do believe I have the notification button. Yes, memory previews. I do have memory previews. So if we wait, we will see. Yep, here's the memory preview. All right. This is basically, all right, the AI has come back with this. These are the messages that it used. And this is the profile that it used. Here are the keywords. All right. I can read through them. I can decide yes or no, all that jazz. Here is my memory content. I can click on this button up here, this little doohickey thingy. And that'll give me a full screen, I guess. I would call this full screen version, and I can read it. Now, if I like it, I can, if I don't like it, I can go, all right, so it's not this, it's supposed to be alerted to whatever. I'll make my changes in here. I'll type and edit it. And then I tap edit and save. If I'm really unhappy with it, I'm going to send it back completely. I'll tap on retry generation. But I'm happy with it. I think the AI did a good job. So I'm just going to tap accept and add to Lorebook. Okay. And that's pretty much it.